The Joe Rogan Experience.
That tells you that the rules are nonsense.
The problem is, who is he running against? I don't think that would have worked if he was running against Obama. I think Hillary is such a deeply flawed candidate, and so many people despised her. And during the Me Too era, like her creepy fucking husband is just looming in the distance like Nosferatu. I mean, how many women have come out and accused that guy of sexual assault and rape, and he's still hovering. I mean, he's still around, and that's always going to haunt her. She's connected to that guy forever.
On this topic, there's an amazing story. So during the election, remember when the story broke of Trump on video saying, I grabbed him by the pussy, I don't even wait, and everybody blew up, and all the mainstream media talking heads were like, oh my God, it's over. He's going to drop out. It's over. It's done. What did Trump do at that next debate? This was actually low-key political brilliance. Instead of doing what every other politician would have done, which is basically kind of give in a little bit and be like, all right, you got me. What he did, he released a short apology video real quick, got it out of the way. Then the next night was a debate. At the debate, Joe, he brought like 8 Bill Clinton accusers. Put them in the audience, and then he goes out there on stage, and when he's asked the question, the first thing he says is, listen, I'm not proud of what I said. It wasn't a good thing what I said, but what I did was just words. What Bill Clinton did was actions, folks. It was actions. So if you want to see who the real problem is, he's sitting right there in the audience. And the brilliance of that move is, this is politics 101. Never really go on defense. Your best defense is a really good offense. So he made it a wash. All of a sudden, this issue, which was supposed to be, oh my God, it's the end of Donald Trump. Now the whole conversation shifted to, I mean, damn, there are a lot of accusations against Bill, aren't there? So maybe this is a wash, and we could just kind of move on from this topic completely. That's all he had to do. And you see it with every single scandal that Trump's involved in. You see how incredibly pathetic and ineffectual and weak the Democrats are at marketing and strategizing, and you see how good he is, because he's, no matter what it is, he's going to flip it. He's going to flip it back on you. So the new thing is the Ukraine thing. I don't know how closely you've been following this, but the Ukraine thing, he basically got caught on a phone call asking for dirt on his political opponents, Joe Biden. He was talking to the president of Ukraine, and he said it in so many words. I mean, he say there was no quid pro quo, but there doesn't have to be. It's implied. Everybody knows what you're asking for. You're asking for dirt on your political opponent. So everybody's melting down and going, oh my God, man, you can't do that. This is violating every rule. This is violating every norm. This is not something any president should be doing, relying on a foreign power to get dirt on your political opponents. What does Trump do? Again, goes right back on the offense, and he goes out there and says, I have every right as president to investigate corruption, and Joe Biden is incredibly corrupt, and all I'm doing is I'm, trying to figure out, why was Hunter Biden getting $50,000 from an energy company? He doesn't know anything about energy. Why is he getting this? And so now, again, the conversation isn't, man, Trump shouldn't have been doing that. The conversation is, okay, sure, maybe Trump shouldn't have been doing that, but goddamn, Joe Biden's son and Joe Biden's family is really corrupt, aren't they?
Well, how about the video where you saw the video where Trump released it, where it was Biden talking about the loan? Like, explain that. Okay,
so this one, I'll give you what the Democrats say and I'll give you what the Republicans say. The Democrats say, hey man, that's a misleading video because yes, it's true, Biden was holding $1 billion subsidy over the head of Ukraine to fire a prosecutor, but Biden wanted to get rid of the corrupt prosecutor and bring in a non-corrupt prosecutor. That's why he was doing what he did and holding that subsidy over their head. And they say the prosecutor that eventually came into place actually investigated the Biden family more. So that's why the Democrats say there's, you're kind of misleading by putting this out there. The argument that Trump is making is, well, no, you're holding $1 billion subsidy over the head of a foreign government and saying you have to listen to us and do X, Y, and Z. That's problematic in and of itself. But furthermore, it's corruption anyway. We know that the only reason Hunter Biden was getting paid $50,000 a month, and actually now people are saying it's not $50,000, it's $83,000 a month, is because his last name's Biden. And so it's pay to play corruption.
$83,000 a month is a lot of fucking money.
And this is where I think Democrats are silly because they always find the weakest anti-Trump argument possible. And now they're put in a position where they have to try to say oh, the Bidens did nothing wrong at all and Trump is all bad. And bottom line, nobody's going to believe that the Bidens did nothing wrong when you're getting $83,000 a month and you don't know anything about natural gas.
Right. What was the justification for the $83,000?
I don't even know what they give as the justification. I mean, the only thing I heard from, I think it was Ted Lieu, was he's a Democratic congressman, was, hey man, people sit on boards and there was nothing wrong there. which is really weak. But here's the thing, and this is, again, why the Democrats drive me crazy, is like, they picked the weakest of all anti-Trump arguments. So they wanted to use this as like, oh, we're going to try to impeach him over this, and this is going to be the thing that we're going to hang our hat on. And Nancy Pelosi even said, we're going to limit the scope of the impeachment investigation to only this, only the Ukraine phone call. And then somebody like me, I'm sitting there and I'm pulling my hair out because I could actually give you like 3 or 4 super legitimate things that are impeachment worthy. Not that I think it strategically makes sense, and we can get into that if you want to, but like the one that drives me crazy is Donald Trump has a hotel in Washington, D.C. that he owns, okay? He took $300,000 through that hotel from the Saudi government. So they're funneling him money through his hotel in D.C. And then Donald Trump turns around and gives a multi-billion-dollar weapons deal to the Saudi government as they're committing a genocide in Yemen. We know they're committing a genocide in Yemen. We know that we're arming them, and he gave them even more weapons because he got that money through his hotel. So for me, I'm looking at that and I'm going, oh my God, this scandal has everything. It's got personal corruption. It's got guns going to a vicious genocidal country.
What was the money for? The money in the hotel?
Okay, so what they did is they had these like little retreats at the hotel, and Saudi Arabia would pay for U.S. veterans to go and stay at these hotels. And they would, I don't know if it's like tours of the Capitol or whatever it is, but they pay for these veteran groups to go to the hotel. But then, of course, you look at it and you go, I don't know, man, $300,000? And the speculation is, well, of course they overpaid on purpose. But furthermore, even if they didn't, Jimmy Carter had to sell his peanut farm when he was president. Because the idea was, hey, we're not even saying you're doing anything corrupt, but just the fact that you have this personal private business, it is theoretically possible that foreign governments want to give you money through your peanut farm. So you have to sell it because just the existence of it is enough to say it violates the Emoluments Clause of the Constitution, which is just a fancy way of saying that the president can't be corrupt and take money from foreign governments. And Trump is doing that. He just is.
Right. So this $300,000, though, this is for services rendered? This is for hotel rooms? What is
well, that's what they say is it's for, I guess, the meals in the hotel rooms and whatnot.
I hate to say it this way, but that's not a lot of money to someone like him.
Well, but then what I always think about when people make that point is you have to flip it. What would we be saying if it was the Clinton Foundation getting $300,000 from the Saudi government, and then Hillary Clinton, as Secretary of State, approving a weapons deal to Saudi Arabia? And the fact of the matter is that actually is almost exactly like what happened with the Clinton Foundation, because Bill Clinton was going around and giving speeches at all these, Gulf dictatorships, and then he was getting, $500,000 a pop or whatever it was, and then Hillary Clinton was approving weapons deals as Secretary of State.
Right. But I feel like that's a little bit more egregious because these speeches are worthless. Like at least the hotel rooms, it's like real. It's real food. It's meals. Like that actually costs money. These speeches are worthless. In my opinion, those speeches are a transparent bribe.
So do you think though that a president should be able to have private businesses that foreign governments can pay him any amount of money?
No, I don't think so. I don't.
Sure.
But I just don't think they're comparable. Like, I think with the Clinton Foundation, the Clinton Foundation was egregiously gross.
Right. Well, I think both of those things are egregiously gross, and I do think it influences him.
I think it sure influences him because there's a deal, right? They have a deal. Even if it's only $300,000, which I know most people hear this are like, that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money to me, but is it a lot of money to a billionaire? I don't necessarily think it is. And it's also a lot of money that goes through his organization, and that it costs money to make that money. So how much profit is that? Out of $300,000, it's not that much profit. If $500,000 a speech, that's one talk for 1 hour, and it costs nothing for him. And he's making $500,000, and he did it over and over and over and over and over again. And it was all under the guise of the Clinton Foundation is doing this great charitable work all across the country and all across the world. And that to me was more transparently disgusting.
Yeah, so I understand.
Sense?
I understand why you would say that, but I also think that there's a problem with it in principle.
Yes.
So I would just nip it in the bud, no questions asked. But beyond that, there's also other stuff too. I'm just giving you one example. There's the other thing, which again, very few people spoke about or recognized, that during the campaign, Donald Trump registered 8 new businesses in Saudi Arabia. So again, when you're running for president, it's a public service. You're trying to serve your country.
Right.
And you shouldn't intertwine business with that in any way, shape, or form. There's another one. I believe he has a hotel in Turkey. And now his argument, by the way, is no, it's okay because I transferred all this to my kids. So while I'm president, my kids run my businesses and take care of it. But I think that's just a total nonsense dodge because your family is still profiting from it. And here's a crazy fact, Joe. And this one really just blew my mind. With Trump in office, in 1 year, Jared and Ivanka made, I think it was $82 or $83 million in 1 year.
How?
Through their businesses. And they say, oh, there's nothing to see here, there's no problem. But then you dig into the specifics, and yet again, you see so many sketchy things, like Jared Kushner got like millions of dollars from Israeli banks. Why? And then this is the guy who they say, it's okay, he's going to broker a peace deal between Israel and Palestine. One of the sides is giving him millions of dollars. You think that's going to be a fair peace deal? It's going to be the most lopsided peace deal in history. And this is the problem, is that, and again, for the Trump example, it's just that he kind of rips the mask off and shows you what everybody's doing. But it's not like it didn't happen with Bill Clinton. It's not like with Barack Obama, it was Wall Street appointed his entire administration. I believe he got a list from Citigroup to put people in his cabinet. And it's like, this is the way the system functions. And my opinion is, you shouldn't be taking money from foreign governments. You shouldn't be taking money from corporations.